Hey everyone, it's Ace, welcome back to another video. EA says that the single-player campaign of Battlefield 6 is being inspired by television series and the movie. On top of that, EA Motive says they're working with DICE in tandem on multiplayer maps. This is something I personally did not know. We're gonna go into detail about that and so much more in today's video. If you're new here, hey hello, my name is Ace. I post 2 to 3 Battlefield videos a week and I play every Battlefield game that is available to me that is still run by EA until Battlefield 6 launches. So if you want to keep in touch with Battlefield 6 news and just enjoy some good old Battlefield gameplay, then please consider leaving a like, comment, and a subscription for future content. Okay, we have a lot to go over in this video, so let's begin with a tweet from Battlefield Bulletin, and there it stated, EA Motive's creative director Roman Campos Oriolo and senior producer Felipe Ducharme, I'm very sorry if I butchered those pronunciations, say the next Battlefield campaign is inspired by a movie called Civil War and the American spy thriller television series Lioness. I'm gonna tell you immediately, I don't watch any movies or series. I stopped watching those things a long time ago. I have no clue how this film or series are. If you know them, if you watch them, let me know down in the comment section so we can compare what you guys think compared to what they were saying. They say the elements we're actually interested is the concept art of talented but ordinary people put in extraordinary situations, he says. That creates a very interesting dynamic in terms of relationship with other people. There are elements we are looking to capture in the single player. EA Motive also hopes to apply its skills with robust single-player experience like Star Wars Squadrons and the 2023 Dead Space remake as preparation for transitioning to Battlefield. The developers continue in another article. I'm a big fan of Lioness creative director Roman Campos Oriolo told Inverse. The show, based on a real-life CIA program that recruited an all-women team to operate in the Middle East, is a little more cerebral than the typical macho military films centered around soldiers on the front lines, he says. Meanwhile, the senior producer Felipe Ducharme told Inverse, I really enjoyed Civil War, Alex Garland's 2023 film, which follows a group of journalists documenting an American secession crisis, also subvert war movie tropes. Some of the things that we're pushing in this game, the film is actually a good reference, he says. I guess at some point I'm gonna have to watch this television series and the film to understand what exactly they took inspiration from and to compare how their campaign felt compared to the film and the television series. I think I can do that at the very least. The only thing I really wish for the campaign is that it's marketable, like the Battlefield 3 campaign was. I think it drove many people who never played Battlefield before Battlefield 3, when they saw the sick-ass tank mission or the sick-ass jet mission, everybody, oh wow, this game looks sick. You know, I think it's very good normie material bait, where they just come and try the game out and then become, long life Battlefield fans because of the campaign. I really hope the Battlefield 6 campaign serves this purpose. This is my main worry, like how the gameplay is gonna be in it and so on. I personally don't care. I hope the gameplay is good, but personally don't really much care about it that much. Other than the trailers and all the clips that's gonna come from it, I think generally campaigns might be a waste of time. But since they had Battlefield 2042 before this, which had no campaign, I think a lot of the customers, or EA thinks a lot of the customers, are expecting a full product from them, which includes, of course, the campaign. So there it is. And I wish luck to EA Motive that they deliver a very good campaign. As I was reading it and coming to the end of the article, Motive started speaking about how they're working on the multiplayer maps with DICE, which was pretty interesting for me. I was under the impression that only DICE is making the multiplayer maps for Battlefield 6, but now Motive is as well involved. So let's see what they said. Motive is one of the 4 studios working on the untitled Next Entry. In addition to working on single player with developer Criterion, it is also producing multiplayer maps with DICE. Motive had previously collaborated with DICE on 2017 Star Wars Battlefront 2, and Ducharme still considers it a privilege to have learned from the Swedish developer's extensive knowledge of crafting great multiplayer maps. If I was to use Star Wars Battlefront 2's maps as a reference point for Motive's work on multiplayer maps, I would say that the maps in that game were pretty solid actually. I really enjoyed that game in a whole, but the maps were really enjoyable. Specifically, Death Star and Naboo were very enjoyable. The other map on that stormy planet, I forgot what it's called, you know the one I mean, were pretty good, and if Motive had extensive work on those maps, yeah, they're pretty good maps. However, my concern here is Star Wars universe has a very big source material. Is it easier to do Star Wars maps because there is so much source material than coming up with an original map in a struggling franchise like Battlefield? I think Star Wars is, for the most part, even though those games were very controversial as well, for the most part, a very established franchise which had a lot of source material to use. And now they're entering here, I would say, the lion's den in Battlefield 6 and have a lot on their shoulders here to deliver excellent maps, because the game really needs good maps after Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 5, which majority of people agree that those games had some pretty poor maps. So I really hope they're qualified for this job, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 maps do give me a little bit of hope for sure. Motive continues to add a little bit more insight to their words. They say, we work with their leads and directors to understand what steps we should be following. what the right approach is to make sure we're delivering maps at the high level they've been doing. And they've been extremely generous with their feedback and time. We knew how to use the tools, but we didn't necessarily have the knowledge to deliver the best map, he says. Thanks to that help, he believes that Motive's maps are some of the best on offer thus far. I play, he says, our maps more, so maybe it's the knowledge I have of the spaces, he says. But they're extremely fun, and I think the result shows just how our teams really work together to get there. Going back to the campaign for a minute, Motive says that pacing its campaign and narrative is the #1 way Dead Space is impacting the next Battlefield, which you shouldn't expect to go full throttle throughout its single-player component. He says the team is taking extra care to balance slower but narratively engaging moments with the high-octane firefights one would expect from the series. Battlefield single-player campaigns have often benefited from such an approach, he says. Battlefield 1's blend of hectic gunfights, vehicle sections, and stealth marked a high point for the series. 2015's Hardline may have been divisive for the traditional fans, but its street-level campaign that allowed players to approach things non-lethally marked one of the most creative entries to date, they say. Well, I mean, their Dead Space remaster, I never played it, but everybody says it's a very good game. I'm not sure if they changed something to the story, how Dead Space Remastered worked compared to the original Dead Space, which I did play from 2008. If you play those games, let me know if the story is the same to the original of the game, or did they change something, so this is why they're speaking about it. But I know what they mean when they say that Dead Space spacing is gonna be kind of how they're approaching Battlefield single-player campaign, and I think that's okay. I mean, as long as the fights are like very, very epic when it comes to those fights, I'm okay with having, you know, like, let's call it a narrative slog before we get to the massive exchange of gunfights. I think I'm okay with this as well, as long as it all looks good. It needs to look good, and it needs to sound good. It needs to have extremely, I cannot stress this enough, extremely good voice actors. I want, if it's gonna be, I assuming it's just gonna be NATO versus something, that those voice actors are extremely well placed and not out of place. That's gonna be my main wish for the campaign when it comes to the immersive factors of it. If you have a good narrative, then it must be also verbally delivered excellently. There is some rumors from the 1BF Telegram group that there might be some playtest on this Friday. I haven't made a video about this yet because I cannot confirm this information yet, and I haven't given any additional information. But if there's gonna be any updates about that, I'm gonna make a video, of course. And if not, and there is a playtest on Friday, then I'm gonna do a video on Friday, and I'll see you guys then. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you leave a like, comment, and a sub for future content. I post 2 to 3 Battlefield videos a week, and I'm really enjoying myself. I hope you enjoyed the video as well, and I'll see you boys on Friday. I hope you have a very good week. And yeah, I have some pretty solid tank footage coming up as well. Had a lot of fun in Sturmtiger the other day on Battlefield 5. I think I'm gonna do this for the Friday video, or maybe Battlefield 3 again. We'll see. Take it easy. I'll see you on Friday. Have a very good day. Bye-bye.